All right, we're live. Welcome to the Apologetic Arena live edition. We're going to be doing a live stream today. This is it part 4, part 5? It's the next edition of our live stream where we are talking about, is Islam really better for women than Christianity? Is Islam really better for women than Christianity? Thank you all for those of you who are joining in already. As you come in, don't forget to like and to heart and send in all of those good things which will tell the algorithms to spread this out to more people. We are going to again today welcome anyone who wants to join live to have a conversation, and especially Muslims. I want to talk to Muslims today, and we're going to see if Islam actually is really better for women than Christianity. And we're going to just compare. We're going to look at what the Bible says about women, and we're going to look at what the Quran says about women. As you come in, guys, make sure you like it. Make sure you are sending in your hearts. And one thing I'll say as well is, obviously, normally I live stream on my Apologetic Arena channel. What's going to be happening going forward is I'm going to be putting my live streams on this particular channel, Apologetic Arena Live. So if you want to see my live streams, then basically subscribe to this channel, like this channel, and the live streams are going to be here, etc. So I'll bring up a caller in a moment. Again, if you're Muslim especially, feel free to come up and we can have a conversation about this. Again, send your hearts in, send your likes in, just so we can get this out to as many people as possible as we begin to jump into today's topic. So I started this live stream series a few weeks back, right? And basically the whole point was, I saw this video from this Muslim guy. He posted this video. It was a short video which has over 1 million views, and the title of his video was Islam honors women more than Christianity. And I watched the video and I said, you know what? Okay, cool. I'm going to start having conversations for the foreseeable future, right? Nothing is determined at this particular point in time. This could be the last edition of it. We could continue to run this for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks all year. We'll see how it goes. But the point is, Islam does not honor women more than Christianity. Anyone who's studied this, even just on a basic level, can understand this and know this. So I'll show you this video again, right? I'll continue to go back to it just so it's fresh in your mind. And obviously this is the backdrop to what we're talking about on a session by session basis when I speak to and engage with Muslims on this particular topic. So, and I just remembered as well, right? You may be hearing some fireworks in the background. It's Guy Fawkes night here in the UK. So in memory of Guy Fawkes trying to break into Parliament, we set fireworks off here. So if you're wondering what those sounds are in the background, that's why. Okay, cool. Thanks for the follow as well. Thank you for those who are following. Greetings as well for those of you joining in the live chat as well. I appreciate you all. All right, so we're going to look at this video before we jump into it. Give me 2 seconds. All right, cool. So again, as you come in, hit the like, share this out, and this is all based on, right, this video right here. So you should be able to see this nice and good. I'm going to, let's take this off. All right, so this is the video. You can just watch it. It's not long. It's what, about 60 seconds, and we can jump into it straight away. So listen to the arguments, right? This is the kind of thing which Muslim apologists, people who go out and try and share the Muslim faith with Christians and stuff like that, are good at what you see in this little clip, right? Rhetoric. They're good at presenting and saying things in a certain way, when really and truly they're not really saying anything significant. They're just saying a lot of stuff without saying anything. So listen to the arguments he presents. And again, this is a video called Islam honors women more than Christians, or more than Christianity.
7th century Islam was saying women don't have to take the surname of their husband. In Islam, the mother, there's a saying of the Prophet that says paradise lies under the feet of the mother. Somebody asked the Prophet with regards to who deserves my companionship, my time, to the mother. Said, who next? Your mother. Who next? Your mother. Who next? Your father. This is the rights that are given to the mother. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, the best of you are those that are good to their women. In Islam, the rights of the women are more so than what was there at the time and what is even there today as well. Because at that time when Islam gave the rights, later, about 1,000 years later, that's when women were allowed to vote. In fact, 300 years, in fact longer, in Europe, they were debating if women even had souls, if they were even human beings. But Muslims were saying paradise lies under the feet of your mother. The best of the people are the ones that are good to their women folk. This is unheard of 1400 years ago.
So notice, right, you got some flavor of what he's basically talking about there, right? The thing every time I hear this video, I continue to think to myself, it's like, he didn't mention anything in the Bible. He's just talking generically about different places at different times. And the reason why he will do something like that is because I want you to understand how a lot of Muslims think about certain stuff. They will view, like, let's say, for example, the West. They will look at the West and they'll say, and they'll be trained from a young age to believe that this is Christianity. Right? The West, what you see in the West is Christianity. When, if you ask most Christians, right, who are even just a little bit serious about their faith, they will look at the West, they'll look at America, they'll look at the UK, they'll look at different places in Europe and different places in the West, and they'll say, no, these nations are fallen and they're in the midst of falling, right? So many people talk about this. When you go back to the 1960s, when they started taking out the Bible from schools and started separating God from a lot of the stuff they were doing, you saw a huge decline, a decline which has continued to fall and fall and fall. It's only in recent decades, as time's gone on, it's like, if you think back to like the early 2000s, it's like things were going lower and lower and lower and lower. And then you had the new atheist movement come on the scene. And these were these confident atheist believers, you know, that's funny. There was these confident atheists who would turn around saying, look, well, Christianity, religion is nonsense. It's not something that we should like be interested in. And that would probably, I'd probably say that was probably like the peak of, in many regards, right? Just the degeneracy, the hating God, the lack of God, etc. And then what happens after that is, when it seems like things are going to get worse and worse and worse, people started to wake up. People started to realize, wait, hold on. Our society is getting worse and worse and worse. And that's how in recent times now, especially more in recent years, things are beginning to change. Don't get it twisted. Things are still going wrong. Things are still bad on so many different levels. But you have a lot of people now looking for something, because they realize life without God is useless. Life without God is pointless, right? And again, I'm looking to engage with any Muslim who wants to have a conversation on this topic. The whole point of today's conversation is about why Islam doesn't honor women better than Christianity, as the video we just looked at says. And Islam is actually bad for women. Christianity is better when you actually look into what both religions say about women. And if you are Muslim and you disagree, feel free to call in and we can have a conversation and we can talk about why that's actually the case. So we looked at that video, right? And I'll just mention it again. Like, in this video, he's not talking about Christians. Don't make the mistake. And this is why I said people like this guy and other people like him who make these sorts of videos, they confuse, right, a culture or a group of people with Christianity. And it's basically just what we call a straw man argument. You're saying, oh, look, there's Christianity over there, when Christians won't say that's Christianity. Christians are not going to promote and say, you know what, go out and live like this licentious, promiscuous lifestyle. Women, go out and sleep with every man you meet in a club. Men, go out and just sleep with everything that's breathing. Like, no, those are sinful actions according to the Bible. But many Muslims will still look at those scenarios and say, oh, look, this is Christianity. Like, no, that's not Christianity. I always say this, I'll continue to say this. You don't judge all of this stuff based on what the people are doing. You always have to go back to the book. You always have to go back to the foundation. What are the foundational texts, the foundational beliefs of each system? And then you judge the people in the system based on the book. So when this guy in the video, for example, is saying, well, Islam honors women more than Christianity because in Islam, or in Islam, it says that a woman is a human, but up until 200-300 years ago, they were debating if a woman had a soul. Well, obviously, they're not talking about, you're not comparing Islam to what the Bible says, because in the first pages of the Bible in Genesis, it's already telling us that man and woman, male and female, are made in the image and likeness of God, right? So they're not animals, they're not anything along those lines. They're humans, just like a man is, right? But you have, again, guys like this in the video saying this sort of stuff, which doesn't even make sense. He'll say things like, he said things like, well, in Islam, a woman doesn't have to take a husband's name, etc. And as if that means like something special, and as if just by itself that's a good thing. Why would you think that a woman not taking a husband's name is a good thing? But you have the same Muslims today who will argue for women who say, oh, I don't want to take my husband's name. They're the same people that will be saying today, well, these are women that are being feminine. They're being feminine, etc. Now, what you'll find as I go through the previous sessions I've done on this, and again, today's going to be no different. Whenever I speak to Muslims about this particular topic, they always find themselves in situations which they have to lie about what their sources say. They're embarrassed of what their sources say. They don't want to deal with what their sources say. They'll just throw a lot of the sources under the bus. Now, that's unacceptable. If you are a Christian, you have to accept what the Bible says. If you are a Muslim, you have to accept what the Quran says. And if you're not a Quran only, you have to accept what the Hadith say as well. Right? Now, Sophie says it's bad to everyone. Okay, but we're speaking specifically today about women, right? Because the point of today's live stream is based on a video which a guy was making the claim that Islam honors women more than Christians. Now, what I want to do, right? I'm going to read a verse. Right? I'm going to read a verse from the Bible. Then I'm going to read something from the Quran. And I want you to just see the difference in the religions. And you'll begin to see why a lot of confident Muslims who want to talk about so many different topics don't really want to talk on this topic. Because if they do talk on this particular topic, they're going to expose exactly how bad Islam is for women, right? All right, cool. Let's read this verse, right? So the first verse we're going to read. All right.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing? Are you a
I'm
Muslim?
good. How is Islam bad for women?
Are you a Muslim?
Yes.
Okay. You want to know how Islam is? Hello?
Yes. I want to know how.
Okay. I'm going to read something to you from the Bible, and then I'm going to read something to you from the Quran, and then hopefully we can talk about why. You can see the clear difference as to why Islam is bad for women and why I'd say Christianity is better. Make sense?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So what I'm going to read firstly from the Bible is from Ephesians chapter 5. I'm going to read verse 28 and 29. This is what it says. It says, so men should basically love their wives as their own bodies. He that loves his wife loves himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but he nourishes and cherishes it, even as the Lord the church. So just in simple terms, this is a passage in the Bible where it's talking about how a husband is supposed to love his wife like basically himself, because in the Bible there's the whole concept of a man and a woman. When they get married, they become one flesh. So they're now a unit. They're now together. They're one. Treat your wife the same way you treat yourself. You don't hate your flesh. You love your flesh, etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go to the Quran and I'm going to read a verse and you tell me what you think about it. So this is in the Quran, it's chapter 4, verse 34. And it says, men are the managers of the affairs of women, for that God has preferred in bounty one of them over another, and for that they have expended of their property. Righteous women are therefore obedient, guarding the secret for God's guarding, and those you fear may be rebellious. Number 1, it says, admonish, banish them to their couches, i.e. don't have relationships with them anymore, and then it says, beat them. If they then obey you, look not for any way against them. God is all high, all great. So in this Quran verse, in chapter 4:34, I'm really mainly focusing on the last part of the verse where it's saying, look, if you fear that your wife is doing like bad stuff, not if she is doing it, if you fear, so if you think she's doing it, admonish them, tell them off, then banish them to couches, i.e. stop having relationships with them. And then also, what you can do is you can beat them. You can strike them, you can scourge them. Different translations render it in different ways. What do you think about that?
It's like, I don't even like. So you're saying that it's not good for, wait, let's talk at this. So you think Islam is good for women, so what about men?
Adam?
You think Islam is bad for women, so what about men?
I think it's bad for women, but what about men?
Yeah, so you think it's just bad for men, but what about men?
It's bad for men too, but for a different reason. But we're not talking about men today, we're talking about women. So what do you think about the verse?
I think you're just being a hater.
You think I'm a hater?
Yes.
You think I'm a hater? Why? Because I'm reading the Quran.
No, I think you're a hater. Like, I just think you're hating on Islam personally.
Why would I be hating on Islam?
Because you're on a live, on TikTok live, talking about Islam, like, you're just being a hater.
I'm being a hater.
Yes, you're just being a hater.
Why am I? Because I'm on a live talking about why Islam is bad for women. That means I'm a hater.
Yeah, you're just being a hater to the religion. Like,
all right. So when I played a video earlier on, you probably weren't. Maybe you weren't here at that point, but the video I played earlier on was a guy talking about why Islam honors women more than Christians. Was he a hater?
well, I was a hater.
But was he a hater? You think I'm not telling the truth?
No, I believe it. Everybody has just.
Was he a hater? Yes or no? It's just simple.
He was a semi-hater.
He was he was a semi-hater, but I'm a full hater. Yeah.
Yeah, you're literally a hater. Wait.
I'm a hater.
Yeah.
You can't see your double standard.
Huh?
You can't see a double standard. Jesus says, do women go to paradise in Islam? Yeah, they do, but also there's Islamic sources which say that most of the people in hell are women. So that's another reason why Islam is bad for women. But maybe I'll touch that in a different live stream. But
just okay. I'll join back.
Pardon?
I'll join back with something.
What do you think about that as well? You think that's good or bad for women? I think she's gone. All right, so she's gone, guys. But ultimately, you see the point, right? This is what happens so often. You do a live stream on a particular topic. A Muslim could be saying the exact same thing as a Christian, but a Christian will be branded as a hater. A Christian will be branded as, he hates a particular religion, or he's an Islamophobe, or whatever ad hominem, whatever attack of the character they'll say. But when you present that the Muslim did the exact same thing, double standard. He's not a hater, he's a semi-hater, etc. You show them two different verses. You look at something which is clearly spoken about in the Bible. A husband is supposed to love his wife like it's himself, because they are one flesh. He's supposed to nourish his wife. He's supposed to look after his wife, just like Christ, Jesus, looked after the church. You read that, and then you read a passage in the Quran, chapter 4:34, where it talks about one of the things a husband can do to his wife is beat his wife. And instead of talk about the passage, they don't want to talk about it, right? they don't want to talk about the passage because they have a problem with the passage. And it's obvious they have a problem with the passage. So instead of them to just say, you know what, yeah, this is actually bad, they turn around and they start attacking you. You're a hater. Why are you doing this? Why do you hate this religion? Blah, 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 etc. Right? Total difference. Now, it's crazy, but like it's whenever I speak to Muslims, it's always interesting to me because I wonder to myself, I'm like, I don't know who's worse, when the men call in or the women call in, because I'm like, I feel sorry for the women, but then at the same time you speak to them and it's like, well, you're literally showing them something in the passage which most people would turn around and say, yeah, like a husband shouldn't beat his wife, but they don't do that. And these are the kind of things which will convince a lot of people as to why in the Islamic sources, Muhammad will say stuff like women have half a brain or their mind is deficient. If you have questions, how is Islam bad for women? Call up and we can have a conversation. Right? I have no problem explaining to you. Like the first caller, I'll talk about it. But again, guys, as you come in, like this live stream, send the hearts. No, I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Christian. I thought that would be obvious. Thank you for liking the live.
Hey,
Hello. How you doing?
how is Islam bad for women?
Are you a Muslima?
Yes.
Okay. Islam is bad for women because in Islam, a husband can beat his wife. What do you think about that?
No, that's not true.
What's not true about it?
How can a man beat a woman? That's not possible.
Because the Quran says so. Do you not know that, or you think I'm lying?
I do. It says it on it.
Okay, where does it say it? Do you know the verse?
No, but I know it says it.
So if you know it says it, why are you saying I'm lying? Or why are you saying it's not true?
How is Islam bad for women? Because Islam is a true.
I just told you why it's bad. Well, I just told you.
It can be drunk to his wife or if they can get drunk and they can kill or rape the wife.
I just told you why it's bad. Okay, let me give you an example, right? You just said in Christianity a husband can get drunk and kill his wife, yeah? That's what you said. Unalive his wife. That's what you said, yeah? That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the Bible, is getting drunk a sin or is it acceptable?
I'm not a Christian, though. How am I supposed to know?
Okay, so getting drunk in a sin. Getting drunk in the Bible is a sin. Number two, in the Bible, it's also murder is also a sin. So you saying a scenario where you now saying, oh look, in Christianity, a Christian man can get drunk and kill it and unalive his wife. That would be someone who's going against the Bible. Me saying to you, on the other hand, in Islam, a husband can beat his wife. That is actually what the Quran says. And so do you get what I'm saying? So it's not, I'm not saying anything which goes against what your Quran says. That's actually what your Quran says.
Okay, but that's not, but I just have to go because that's not really true.
Okay, it's not true. You said at the start it's not true. Then you said you know it's true. You know the verse, and then you said it's not true. Again, imagine, guys, this is the second apparent Muslima that I've spoken to, and you can see what's happening here, right? One of them doesn't want to actually address what's actually being said. They don't want to acknowledge that, you know, what he actually read in the Bible was actually really good for women. A husband should love his wife like his own flesh. He should love her like it's himself. Because according to the Bible, a husband and a wife are one. A husband shouldn't be striking his wife. You don't strike yourself, so why would you be striking your wife? That's nonsensical. And in like manner, It's the same for, like, it's not the same in Islam. In Islam, you can strike your wife. 313, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for liking the live as well. Appreciate you. All right. Hello.
Why do you think Islam is bad for women?
Didn't we speak before?
Yeah, but you didn't elaborate.
I did elaborate. You didn't want to answer or talk about what I said. What do you think about a husband in Islam being able to beat his wife? What do you think about that? Is that good or bad?
Islam never said that.
All right. Open your Quran.
I have. I've read it multiple times.
Okay. So why are you saying it doesn't say it?
Because it doesn't.
What does it say? She's gone, guys. Isn't this interesting? This is what I said this already, right? This is probably why, right? In Islam, in the sources, in Islamic sources, it says women have a deficient mind. They have a deficient mind. Their mind malfunctions. They've got a malfunction. It's deficient. That's what it says in the Islamic sources. That's probably one of the reasons why Muslims throughout the centuries have said, you know what, yeah, you can strike your women. Hey, look at this guy, right? Or maybe it's, anyway, just look at this comment. This person says, look, it's more of the same, guys. You lot are always targeting Islam. But when the guy who published a video, which has gotten now 1 million views, talking about Islam honors women more than Christianity, these same Muslims won't turn around and say to them, oh, they're always targeting Christians. Like, the double standard is so crazy, right? Exactly. It's not about necessarily targeting Islam. And this is what's even so funny, especially to someone like me. Like, if you stick around for any serious amount of time on my live streams or even on my videos, like, I engage with people other than Islam. My last topic was exposing Black Hebrew Israelites. My next live stream is probably not going to be on Islam as well, but who knows? So my whole point, my whole thing, Short King, thanks for following as well. Appreciate you. My whole, like, all of my content on my apologetic content is all about defending Christianity. And I show you how to defend Christianity against different arguments, against different people. So it's interesting when Muslims try and just start, again, like I said, they start attacking you and calling you names and saying X, Y, Z, all of this different kind of stuff. Instead of actually just dealing with what's actually being said. Why can't they just deal with what's actually being said? Let's see. How about atheists? How is there a powerful argument against them? When we do an atheist live stream, which I'm going to have to do one soon because I haven't done one in a while, but it'll be evident, right? It'll be evident what the problems with atheists are against Christianity, etc. Because everybody's got arguments about Christianity. Jesus is God, yet that is the truth. Let's see what else. Bro, Islam is the light. Okay, but it's definitely not the light for women. That's for sure. Let's see. Imagine you've got people saying Islam is the light, but then you show them the light, quotation marks, in their scriptures. They don't want to talk about it. They want to run from it. Why do I think Islam is bad for women? And I wondered how long it would take to get the first comment about her hijab. As if I've even said anything about an hijab in this live stream. Again, people like call in and we can talk about why I think that, and then you can have your you can tell me why. Apparently, I'm so rude. I'm so rude because I'm talking about Christianity and Islam. But when a Muslim does it, they're not so rude. It's good dawah. Like, do we really have to be like this hypocritical? And it's true. Like, thank you. It's better when someone else says it instead of me saying it, right? I haven't said anything rude. Like, trust me, I could deliver the same content and be much more. I could be harder. Trust me. But I don't need to do that. I'm the kind of person, just let the evidence speak for itself. And then at that point, you just see what people have to say about it. So far we've had two Muslim women come up, and I've asked them about these particular topics. One woman, we read one of the verses in the Quran. She didn't want to engage with it, right? She jumped off. We had a second woman who came on, and she said, I said, look, this is a problem with Islam. She said, I'm lying. I said, why am I lying? Then she said, apparently she's seen it, and then again, like, malfunctioning. So this is what we have to do. So what I actually want to do, right? I read this Quran verse, right? Chapter 4, verse 34, right? Chapter 4, verse 34. One of the things it says in that verse is that a husband can strike. Some translations say scourge. Some translations say beat. You have to be aware of the false translations that say beat lightly, because that's not in the Arabic. Even as much as many Muslims try and lie and say that I'm lying about Arabic, but that's what the Quran says. We read it multiple times. You're in Islam as a husband, you are able to strike your wife if you fear, not if she is being disobedient or being rebellious or anything along those lines. All you have to do is have a doubt in your mind, and you can start initiating actions. You can tell her off, you can stop having relationships with her, and you can also beat her if you so choose, if you deem it necessary. Guys, don't forget to like it, share this, hearts, all of it. Like, we need more Muslim women to wake up and realize this is what their religion teaches. It's not because you have Muslims which are bad doing this, right? Are deviating from what the Quran and the Hadith say. These are actually Muslims doing this and believing this because it's in line with what the text says. And again, you always see like many people trying to deviate. Look at this person. Muslim women are protected in Islam. This is what this verse says, 4:34. I'm going to read the last part. And those you fear may be rebellious, admonish, banish them to their couches, and beat them. If they then obey you, look not for any way against them. God is all high, God is all great. So again, this is what you call protection in Islam. Someone says women are protected in Islam when you literally have a verse in the Quran which says a husband can beat his wife if he fears that his wife is doing something crazy, right? See how crazy that is. Answer my question. Why is Islam bad for women? I'm sorry, I'm mad. It's because I don't like people. I've literally just been speaking about one reason why Islam is bad for women. All right. I want to read a hadith, right? Because this hadith is so interesting to me. And I'm pretty certain that a lot of, I'm sure I've heard Muslims quote this hadith, right? And you let me know what you think, right? This is Sunan Ibn Majah, 1986. Sunan Ibn Majah, 1986. I want to show you something interesting right now, right? I'm going to show you something really interesting. Watch. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is interesting. So look at what this says. And again, when we're talking about a topic on women, are people in the comments saying, how do you believe in Jesus being God and the Son of God? Do you see what Muslims have to do when they can't handle a topic? They either attack you, they deviate and start trying to deflect, or just start trying to cause just a ruckus or something, anything to get off the topic. All right. Sunan ibn Majah, 1986. Notice what this says. It was narrated. Hold on. Let me choose that. It was narrated that Ashath bin Qais said, I was a guest at the home of Umar. This is one of Muhammad's right-hand men. He was a guest at the home of Umar one night, and in the middle of the night, he went and hit his wife. He hit his wife. He saw, there was people in the comments earlier saying, oh, it means beat lightly, right? Following the false Arabic translation and the cover-up jobs that you see in some of the hadith, trying to cover up 434, right? He went and hit his wife, and I separated them. Imagine this, right? Umar apparently hit his wife, according to some Muslims, with a miswak, right? A toothpick or a little wooden stick. That's what some Muslims will try and get you to believe, right? And because he hit her with a little toothpick, this guy apparently had to break them up. Make that make sense. He's hitting her. He hit her with a little toothpick, but for some reason, this guy felt that it necessary to break them up. When he went to bed, he said to me, Umar that is, O Ashath, learn from me something that I heard from the Messenger of Allah. A man should not be asked why he beats his wife, and do not go to sleep until you have prayed the witar. And he says he forgot the third thing. So imagine, one of Muhammad's right-hand men, Sunan ibn Majah, 1986, he hits his wife. A guy wakes up. Sorry, a guy gets in the middle and says, no, stop. Don't do it. And when Umar now goes to bed, he turns around and says, listen, I want to tell you some things that Muhammad told me. I heard Muhammad saying. One of the things I heard him saying is that a man should not be questioned as to why he beats his wife. Sunan ibn Majah, 1986. Sunan ibn Majah, 1986. Right? If you want to see it, if you can't see it, then on YouTube I'm showing it and you can see it. Sunan ibn Majah, 1986. Go and look it up yourself. This is what it says. But I'm going to show you some. I promise you, any Muslim, oh, there it goes. Oh, praise the Lord. This is exactly what I was waiting for. This is exactly what I was waiting for, guys. I'm going to show you this. Before I even show you that, you see this person here? I'm waffling, guys. Someone's telling me to talk about something else. Now we want to talk about this. But again, look, do you see what this, you see what it says right here? It's a weak hadith. It's a weak hadith. It's a weak hadith. So you see, when you go back, I'm going to show it to you again. Right, let me just scroll down a little bit so you can see this. What he means, what this person means by that is, look, you see when it says down here, it's weak. It's what they call da'if. That means for Muslims, oh, you know what? Well, that's how they can throw the hadith under the bus. So they say, oh, it doesn't make sense. Apparently I'm rage baiting. Was the guy who made the video saying Islam honors women more than Christianity rage baiting too? Was he? Okay. Now, the person said, right? Where is it? Let me bring it back. See? Ad hominem. I'm uneducated. Do you see what's happening? Right? Look at, notice the negative comments, the ad hominems. I'm going to go back to this comment though. Where is it? All right. Weak hadith. So I'm just saying this to say, guys, the reason why this person will say it's a weak hadith is because that is how they're able, in their mind, to throw that under the bus and say, okay, cool, it's weak. So what weak means is, just to help you understand this before we continue, if a hadith is graded as weak, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean it's not true. It means they are not 100% sure. They will cast doubt on it and say, oh, this isn't true. So where this guy, Umar, is saying, look, Muhammad apparently said this. One of the things he said was, don't question a man why he beats his wife. Instead of him to say, these people to say, oh, no, he shouldn't be doing that. They say it's weak. Oh, we don't have to accept it. So in Islam, you have this grading system. Like for us, for example, I'm not even going to say that. In Islam, you have this grading system. You have what they will say is weak. If it's weak, then they'll use it as a way to get out of what the thing says. Even though on different occasions, you'll hear Muslims quoting weak hadith, accepting weak hadith, and all of that good stuff. So you've got weak. That's like lower tier, low tier. You can still take from lower tier hadith, just for the record, right? Then you've got middle tier, which is Hassan, which is, it's okay, right? More reliable in their eyes and in their mind than the weak, that daif. And then you have the creme de la creme. You've got Sahih. If it's Sahih, I remember maybe not 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. 8 years ago, when loads of people were online, Islam, like Muslims were coming online and making a lot of videos. 8 years ago, you'd hear so many Muslims saying, look, this is a weak hadith, this is a weak hadith, we can't accept that, we don't accept that. It has to be Sahih. And you heard that for years and years and years. If it's Sahih, it's authentic. It's Sahih, authentic, but not daif, not weak. Now, the reason, again, I'm continuing to show this hadith and highlight this is because what was the argument? It's weak. So logically speaking, if you're not going to accept it because it's weak, then you should accept it, an hadith, because it's Sahih. That's the implication, right? The hadith I was talking about before was Sunan Ibn Majah 1986, right? And the grading is, it's daif, it's weak. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go one up, right? We're going to go back from Sunan Ibn Majah 1986, and we're now going to read Sunan Ibn Majah 1985. And notice what's going to happen now. As you can see here, this is, as the header says, the chapter on marriage. And it says, as you can see here, 51, chapter hitting women. And it makes sense because we just read 1986, which was an example of Umar, Muhammad's right-hand man, hitting a woman, right? So now we're reading Sunan Ibn Majah, one up. We've just read 1986. We're now going to read Sunan Ibn Majah, 1985. And notice what this says. It says that it was narrated that Ilyas bin Abdullah bin Abu Dubab said, the Prophet said, do not beat the female slaves of Allah. The Prophet said in this hadith, do not beat the female slaves of Allah. Right? So I mentioned this previously. I've heard people say this, right? I've heard people say this before, quote this particular hadith. Like loosely, oh yeah, the Prophet said in hadith, don't beat the female slaves of Allah. And I was like, where did they say this? And if that's not the end of the hadith, by the way, guys. If any Muslims wondering, like, that isn't the end of the hadith. And this hadith interests me so much because it reveals so much stuff, right? Sunan Ibn Majah 1985. Notice what it says next. It says, then Umar. This is the same Umar from Sunan Ibn Majah 1986, the next in this hadith collection. Then Umar came to the Prophet and said, O Messenger of Allah, the women have become bold towards their husbands. So order the beating of them. You see what's happening here? in this hadith now, Muhammad apparently said, don't beat Muslim women. His right-hand man, Umar, comes along and says, O Messenger of Allah, now that you've said we shouldn't beat them, the women have now become bold. So what does Umar say in response? He says, because they've become bold, reorder us the ability to beat women. Because for them, they obviously don't want their women to be bold in regards to them. Why? Because they know what the Quran says. If you fear disobedience, if you fear rebellion from your wife, tell them off, banish them to different beds, or you can beat them. What kind of beating do you think he's talking about? You think here in this hadith, Umar is saying, yeah, order us to show the toothpick again. No, this is obvious to anyone who is just looking at this clearly. But it continues, because now we're going to read about Muhammad saying, don't beat them. Of course you're not going to be able to beat them, because I just told you, don't beat them, Umar. Right? That's what we're going to read right now. But notice what it says. Umar says, so order the beating of them. And notice what it says here, these next 4 words. And they were beaten. So in this hadith, and this is why I think this hadith is so fascinating, because any Muslim who quotes this hadith, it's where it says, Muhammad says, don't beat them. Right? But they distort and leave out the rest of what the hadith actually says. Like, it's crazy to me, because he's apparently saying don't beat them. One of his main guys comes to him and says, look, the women are now bold now. They're getting emboldened against us because we can't beat them anymore. So what's he basically saying? Look, before, when our wives got rude or they were emboldened, we could beat them and then they would pipe down. But now we can't do that anymore. So let us beat them again. And then it says, and they were beaten. So how do they go from not being beaten to being beaten again? Well, obviously, Muhammad said, okay, you can beat them. Now, before we continue, we'll leave it on an icebreaker there, right? Cliffhanger. Let's see our next caller, what our next caller has to say. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? Are you a Muslim?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm blessed.
So my question to you is,
Are you a Muslim?
yes, alhamdulillah.
Okay. How can I help?
My question to you is, do you think Christian women are more, like in other words, protected by Christianity than a Muslim woman would in Islam?
Do I think a Christian woman is more protected than a Muslim woman?
In Christian, yes. In Christianity, yes.
Yes.
Why so?
Well, one of the reasons we've talked about today is in the Bible, in Ephesians chapter 5, it talks about a husband is to love his wife and to treat her like he treats himself. And in contrast, we've read something in the Quran today, and we've looked at a couple of hadiths so far. Well, we looked at chapter 4:34 of the Quran, which says a husband is able to beat his wife. So that's one reason why.
But what you forgot to mention, it's a 3-step process to want to beat your wife. It's not just I want to beat her because I want to. It's a 3-step process.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention it's a 3-step process. I forgot to mention it's a
So
3-step process, guys.
you don't hit is certain women that you do, ones that commit sins. So let me give you an example. In Islam, we go against dating. We go against committing zina, which is sins. Christianity, it's the opposite way.
What's your name, sir?
Salah.
Salah.
S-A-L-A-H.
Salah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Salah. So when I said to you, in Islam, the problem I have is that in Christianity, a husband is supposed to love his wife like he loves himself.
In the same way in the Quran.
But, let me finish. But in Islam, a husband is able to beat his wife. Why did you focus on me apparently forgetting about stages and not actually deal with what I actually said? Whether there's a stage or not a stage, my point was that in Islam, a husband
in Christianity
can strike.
back in the day,
in
when a woman
Islam, don't
was to
interrupt
commit
me.
sin, what
Don't
would they
interrupt
do? They
me.
would stone her or hang her,
Don't
correct?
interrupt me. In Islam, you can
This is a
strike
fact.
your wife. Why did you go past what I actually said was the problem and start talking about something else?
But what's the problem? Because you forgot to mention a three-part step to it.
The problem is, I'm going to say this for the third time to you now. The problem is that a husband can strike his wife.
This is not true.
First, you're saying I forgot to mention stages. Now you're saying it's not true.
You're just moving directly.
Is it true
to the striking
that the
So
verse
let's talk
says you
about the
can?
striking then.
Is it true that the verse says you can strike them?
It is true to
Okay.
certain women.
Okay, thank you. So don't say it's not true.
So let's talk about the certain women. You want to go deeper in it?
What
Let's
does
talk
the-
about
okay.
the certain women.
Okay, what does the verse say? It says.
So you can't. here's the
It
thing,
says.
you-
Hold on.
you
Hold on.
can't-
Hold on. Hold
you
on. Hold
can't-
on.
You
Hold
can't
on.
talk about another
Salah.
religion
Salah,
without
hold on.
understanding the chapter.
Hold
So you're
on,
telling
Salah.
us right away a man can strike his wife. But what are the reasons?
It
You're
says.
forgetting to tell us what
And
the reasons
those
are. Correct?
who fear may be rebellious. Those are the women who fall under this category. Those who you fear may be rebellious. So if a husband in Islam has an inkling in his mind, he says, you know what? I actually feel like my wife is doing something behind my back. Or I actually feel like my wife is doing something sinister
Perfect. Now
or
we're on the
crazy.
same chapter.
This
So
is
what's
the
first
person.
reason? What's the first act that you do? We're on the same chapter. So we're
All
going
right,
now.
hold
We're
on,
at
Salah.
the
Hold on.
three-step
Hold on a
process.
second.
So what's
Hold on
the
a
first
second,
step?
Salah. Hold on a second. Guys in the comments, please send me comments and let me know if it's me that's losing my mind or if
Bro, you
or
can't just go to
if
something.
Salah
There's a
can't
three-step
if
process.
Salah
It's
can't
mentioned in
understand
the
this.
Quran. There's a three-step process before you lay your hands on your wife.
Help me, guys. I need to understand because I think this is going to be the fourth time I'm going to tell him.
And on top of that, let's
not
talk
about the
Christianity.
stages.
Let's talk about Christianity. Christianity has the #1 rate divorce. Christianity has no protection for its own women.
You can't make this up.
If there is any protection for its own women, I would love to know what they are.
You can't make this up.
No, there is no making up. It's all in your book.
I'm literally reading a verse in the Quran.
Brother, I don't know
And
what kind of verse you're reading, but before you read the verse, it's a three-step process before you hit your wife.
Okay.
You just don't hit your wife because you feel like it.
Okay, you don't. You
Plus,
clearly,
it's mentioned
it's
I
clearly
don't know
going
if
over
you've
your
read the
head, bro.
Quran,
It's
but
clearly
it's
going
mentioned
over
in
your
the
head, bro.
Quran. If you hurt an ant, you hurt humanity.
It's clearly going over your head, bro.
No, brother. I don't think. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that bugs
You
me.
can strike your wife
You're
in
going
Islam.
on live.
That is the
Let me
problem.
talk. Let me talk.
That
You're
is the
going
problem.
live.
No, because you're
going
not
live.
listening.
You're very
You're not
uneducated
listening.
Go ahead. If you want to bring something up, bring proof to back it up. So, okay, you're right. It does mention in the Quran that a man can strike his woman, but there's a process. There's a process to do it. You don't do it to do it.
What's the What's the third step?
I'm sorry?
What's the third step?
So,
what's the third step? What's the third step? Just tell us what the third step is.
You see a woman cheating on you.
No, I didn't say that.
I told you we're on the right step.
I didn't say that.
The first step is you
What's
go
the
and
third
question
step,
her.
man? What is the third step?
You can't ask me what the third step if you don't even know what the first one is. You're trying to go A to Z quick.
This is what Islam does to you.
Brother, listen, here's the thing. If you don't know, you can just say, I don't know.
Let me even take that back.
I don't mind educating you.
This is what Islam's done to this
I'm not the perfect man on this planet, but I have common sense, bro.
What's the third step?
What is the first step?
What's the third step?
Oh man. Earlier I asked you, how are Christian women protected?
And I told you.
You haven't answered me.
I told you.
How? So okay, let me ask you something.
No.
Let me ask you, I just want to see how educated you are.
No.
Do you know what a mahar is?
What?
Do you know what a mahar is?
Guys, this is... It's sad that a religion can blind someone so much. Yes, I took him off because he can't even understand basic stuff. And he's accusing me of not knowing stuff. I literally said 3 times to him, 3 times. The problem is you can strike your wife. He came on here all confident saying, I forgot to mention stages. Clearly he hasn't been here for any serious amount of time. But even if we move past that, he doesn't understand that the point is still the same. The problem I'm highlighting is that you can strike your wife. He's not disagreeing with me. He said I'm lying, and then he turned around and realized and said, Jessica, yes, you're not lying. It does say that. But apparently I'm the person who doesn't know stuff. I'm the one that's ignorant. I'm the one that has a problem. It's going over his head. I literally showed him. I cross-referenced. Ephesians says a husband is to love his wife like he loves himself. Honor his wife. Cherish his wife. This verse in the Quran says you can strike your wife. He can't see the problem. He's so focused on, oh, there's stages, as if it changes the fact that my point has stayed the same. You can strike your wife. All right. So I'm going to give you another chance. Now, you're on a... Listen, I'm just going to tell you this. You're not going to listen.
You couldn't handle what I say.
Listen, you're not going to last long.
I asked you what a mahar is.
You're not going to last long. No, you're not. No, you're not.
What is a mahar?
You're not going to last long.
I could educate you about it.
Don't make me regret bringing you back.
You want to say women get beaten in Islam, but what is a mahar?
Does the verse say it? Yes or no?
I asked you a question.
Does it say it? Yes or no? Does it say yes or no?
Answer. What is a mahar?
Does it say it? Yes or no?
Oh my God.
Does it say?
Bro, why you? Bro, if you can't answer, I'm more than happy to answer it for you.
I don't need you to answer any questions for me,
brother.
Except for the ones I'm asking you, bro.
You're here talking about other religions. You don't even know your own.
I'm uneducated.
You don't know your own.
All right.
Bro.
What I actually should do is block that guy. Because he doesn't even have just basic reasoning skills, which is a shame. You're gone, man. I don't want to deal with someone that's just as dumb as you.
Hello.
How you doing? Are you a Muslim?
Are you gonna label everyone as dumb that you don't agree with?
No. I'm only gonna label someone as dumb as if they show themselves evidently to be dumb, like that guy did. So if you don't do anything dumb, I won't call you dumb.
So you're gonna kick me out?
I don't.
I'm used to it.
I literally just said, as long as you don't do anything silly, foolish, I'm not gonna call you foolish, not gonna call you dumb. If you
okay, that's fine.
If you handle yourself,
but I'm gonna make a prediction.
If you handle yourself properly, we can have a long conversation. It won't be an issue.
That's fine. If you start but even though games, I'm disrespectful,
if you start
even if I'm
games,
disrespectful, right?
No. If you're disrespectful, then obviously you're not going to last long. This is just obvious.
No. You misunderstood what I said. I said, even if I'm respectful, you're still going to kick me out, because what happens is I corner Christians. They don't like what I say. Then they start to mute my mic. And then because they don't like the fact that I'm putting them in their place, they start to mute my mic, speak over me, and then eventually kick me out. So if you're going to do this, I might as well leave now.
Why are you playing the victim card?
Okay, perfect. Now let's continue.
No, why are you playing the victim card? You literally came on here and you already said, oh, look, are you going to kick me? Are you going to do this? I've been on different people's live streams and they do this and they do this and they do this. I literally said to you from
Because
the
it's
beginning.
always the same.
I literally said
I
this
can
from
see
the
what's
beginning.
coming, but let's ignore that anyway.
You just look. You just talked about you going on other people's live streams and them interrupting you. How many times have you already interrupted me, bro?
Okay, let's move to the point. It says Islam is bad for women.
How many times have you already interrupted me and you're saying you're playing a victim? Why do you think you probably get kicked from these rooms? Because someone's talking and you're interrupting.
I explained to you why I get kicked out.
And I'm already showing you, evidentially, you're already doing stuff which is warranting you getting kicked.
No. But anyway, let's move on. Islam is bad for women. Christianity is better. So what does Christianity offer?
All right. I'll give you the same I've given to the other people. In Ephesians chapter 5, verse 28 and 29, it says, a husband is to love his wife. This is in the Bible, if you just for the record. A husband is to love his wife like it's his own body. He that loves his wife loves himself. And then it says, no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourishes, basically takes care and cherishes it, even as the Lord of the church. So a husband in Christianity is supposed to love his wife the same way he loves himself, take care of his wife the same way he takes care of himself, because a husband and a wife become one flesh according to the Bible. They're a unit. In contrast, in Islam, one of the things we've been reading today is Surah chapter 4, verse 34, which basically says, I'll read the second part of the verse. It says, and those you fear may be rebellious, admonish, banish them to their couches or to their beds, and beat them. If they then obey you, look not for any way against them. God is all high, God is all great. So, in contrast, in Christianity, a husband is told he should love his wife, he should take care of her. In Islam, a husband is able to strike his wife.
Okay, how do you understand the word beat?
Well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? You look at the different translations.
Okay, so do you think it means physically?
You look at different translations. It's one translation says beat, another one says scourge, another one says strike. Some of the false translations say beat lightly, even though that's not in the Arabic. But I think it's kind of obvious. You don't think it's obvious?
No, but how do you understand the words? Can you speak Arabic, by the way?
Why do I need to speak Arabic to answer this question?
Okay.
I've read Arabic speakers and I've heard Arabic speakers speak about this, so it doesn't make a difference.
Okay, so just so I can understand.
What don't you understand?
Islam is bad for women, yet 60% of those who revert to Islam are women.
Maybe Muhammad was right when he said women are deficient in mind.
So women are opting to be subjected.
That would fall right in line with what Muhammad says in the sources. You didn't hear what I just said? What do you think about the verse?
I'm asking you.
I gave you my reasoning. I gave you my reasoning. I think this is obvious. Real, thanks for the follow. I think it's obvious for anyone who has basic reading comprehension.
So you think. So it's opinion.
Okay, well, it's not just what I think. Obviously, there's additional source material and other things which corroborate what I'm talking about. I was reading a hadith earlier on which talked about Umar hitting his wife and the guy breaking it up. And then he said, well, Muhammad said, one of the things I remember Muhammad saying is, don't question a man why he beats his wife. before a previous caller, I was in the middle of reading a different hadith, which was talking about Umar coming to Muhammad and saying, well, the women are getting bold now because we can't beat them anymore. Let us beat them again. And then it says they were beaten. We were halfway through that hadith. So
what's the verse?
The verse or the hadith? Which one? What do you want?
The hadith.
Which hadith do you want reference for?
Both.
Sunan Ibn Majah 1986 and Sunan Ibn Majah 1985.
Sunan Ibn what?
Ibn Majah 1986 and Ibn Majah 1985. You don't know who that is? Pip says she loves being a Muslim woman, gives me peace, and I don't have to stress to impress. Only please God. All right, I feel sorry for you. That's what you truly believe. This is rage bait. Obviously, it's rage bait. You see, when Muslims do this same stuff to Christians, it's not rage bait. Apparently, when Christians do it, it's rage bait. Make it make sense, guys. Again, this is another comment. Imagine, see, Muslims are just so predictable. Sunan Ibn Majah 1986 was a weak hadith. No one said it wasn't. But this is why I started reading Sunan Ibn Majah 1985. Because you're going to see clearly Muslims do a flip-flop. It's weak. And what are they going to say about the Sahih hadith? Oh, they're going to make another excuse to throw it under the bus. This is the whole point. This is another one saying it's graded da'if, or it's the same person. It's graded da'if. See? They're so predictable. You're bringing a weak hadith. It was the whole point to show you your hypocrisy. Because when you give them that caller went, by the way, I just realized, right? I was just showing you guys how Muslims will act. You show them a weak hadith, which they could even accept weak hadith, just for the record. They'll say it's weak, but then you show them a Sahih hadith, which is top level, authentic. Then they'll turn around and they'll make a different excuse to show you, like this comment says, they are all weak if it doesn't fit the narrative. This is the point. You show someone a hadith that is da'if, which is weak, and they'll throw it under the bus if it doesn't agree. If I show them a different hadith, which was da'if, which said something which they wanted and they liked, they would accept it. But when I show them a Sahih hadith, they'll turn around and make up some next excuse and do mental gymnastics, etc. And imagine, right? 1985 actually refutes me. No, it doesn't. This is how, like, these guys are just so funny. This is why I said this hadith 1985 is so interesting to me. Because you have a lot of people who will turn around and say, well, like I mentioned before when we were reading hadith, you have these people that will say, oh, see, they'll only quote the first part of the verse. Muhammad said, don't beat female slaves, right? Don't beat the female slaves of Allah. Don't beat the Muslimas. Don't beat them. Then Umar comes along and says, the women are now getting bold. They're getting bold towards us. You see, when a woman doesn't fear her husband beating them up, right? They're not going to be all downtrodden and discombobulated and just feel like weak and inferior. This is the complete opposite of what the Bible is telling us to do as husbands, right? Not to belittle our wives and to beat them down, but to lift them up. To lift them up. To treat them the way we treat ourselves. If we don't beat ourselves, why should we beat our wives? So Umar says they've become bold. Then he says, Muhammad, order the beating of them. And then it says, and they were beaten. So the reason why this hadith is so significant and interesting to me is because it shows that where a lot of Muslims will try and say Muhammad cared about women and all this different kind of stuff, if he really did, why would he turn around after apparently saying don't beat them to just so easily say, okay, yeah, go and beat them? Because one of his confidants, one of his right hand men, Umar, comes along and says, they're getting bold. They're speaking up now. They're big and bold now. Beat them. Like, let's beat them again. And then they get beaten, right? That's how you know there's a problem. He flip-flopped. Why would he flip-flop on women beating if he really cares about women? And then notice what it says next. Then, look at this word right here. After it was given to them to beat them, then it says, many women went around to the family of Muhammad. Now, what happens? It says, the next day. He literally rewrote the law. You can beat them again. And then many women right away, right, went to Muhammad's house. Why did they go to his house? It says the next day he said, last night 70 women came to the family of Muhammad, each woman complaining about her husband. What do you think they were complaining about their husband to the family of Muhammad? Isn't it obvious? Umar comes along and says, the women are getting bold. The funny thing about this hadith, every time I read this hadith, it reminds me of the story in the Bible in Esther, the book of Esther, where you've got the Persian king and he's having this banquet, he's throwing this party. He calls his wife, Vashti. He sends for her. Bring Vashti, she's a beautiful woman, bring her. And she doesn't come. She says, like, no, I'm not coming, right? So then, in that account, it's similar. Like, the guys like start saying to him, well, look, if this gets out that the king called the queen and the queen didn't come, other men in the kingdom are going to suffer because of this, because other women are going to do the same. So you know what the king does? The king turns around and says, okay, cool. Because we can't let this happen, bring Vashti here so we can beat the living hell out of her. So every woman knows not to disrespect your husband in that way. Is that what you think happened? No. That isn't what happened. And that's not even, like, he wasn't even like a believing king. He's a pagan Gentile king. But he didn't turn around and say, okay, cool, like, yeah, go and let's beat her up. He says, okay, cool. She's disrespected the king. She's not gonna be the queen anymore. We're gonna bring a new queen in. This is how Esther becomes queen in that kingdom. But it reminds me, every time I read this hadith, it reminds me of it. It's like, the women are getting bold. So the guy says, well, let's beat them again. They start getting beaten. And the next day, 70 women came to Muhammad's house, each of them complaining about their husbands. And then it says, you will not find that those are the best of you. And it's interesting when you think about this, because you could read this either way. He could be talking about the women, he could be talking about the men. But even if he's talking about the men, right? Notice the flip-flop. He didn't say, you won't find these people beating their wives the best of men, when Umar came and said, allow them to be beaten. He said, yeah, go and beat them. That's why they were beaten. And it's only when the women come and complain, many women came to his house. That's when he turned around and said, okay, cool. Those of you who do this are not the best of you. This is why it's funny when people will look at this and say, oh yeah, this hadith actually debunks you, when they're actually not thinking about what's actually happening in the hadith. He apparently went from not beating them to one of his guys saying, let's be able to beat them again, and he lets them. Is that the sort of character of the person you want to follow? Is that the religion you want your wife? Well, maybe not your wife, because there's some crazy Muslim men out there. Is that the religion you want your daughter in or your mum in? A religion where on one day your mum or your daughter would be getting beat up, then she wouldn't be, then she'd be getting beat up, then she wouldn't be. And even, what's even crazy about this hadith is that it says, you will not find that those are the best of you. He doesn't say a Muslim that beats his wife isn't a Muslim. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. And for all those people who were commenting before, oh, it's a weak, the previous one was a weak hadith. This is Sahih. It's top grade. And this is what I was saying earlier on. Years ago, you'd hear people say, oh, it has to be a Sahih hadith. It has to be Sahih. It has to be Sahih. Nowadays, they throw Sahih hadith under the bus. And you can't even trust Sahih hadith. Because again, it goes back to the comment I mentioned, I highlighted previously. Where is it? Should have saved it. This one right. Oh, this one right here. Islam, they only care about the hadith that fits their narrative. If it doesn't, then they don't care. They'll throw it under the bus. Whether it's weak or whether it's Sahih. Doesn't matter. Abu Hamza, how are you doing?
Okay. Are you aware of the... Wait, why is there an echo?
Wear headphones.
Hello? Why is there an echo?
Am I aware of what? You're a Muslim, I assume, right?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wait, why the hell is there an echo?
I don't know. You're a Muslim, right? No, they're not hearing an echo, so.
Yeah, I said, are you aware of hadith where it says that you beat without leaving an injury?
Yeah.
Okay. So
What about it?
so which one's worse? Beating your wife without an injury or chopping your wife's hand off?
Which one's what?
Which one's worse? Beating your wife without an injury or chopping your wife's hand off?
Really?
Yeah, which one's worse?
Come on, fam. We're not going there, man. Like, these traps are so weak.
Wait, which one's worse?
These traps are so weak. These traps are so weak and so played out.
Still, like, he's not answering the question. Like, he's
panicking. because you're trying to run to somewhere else. You're trying to run, bro.
No, I'm asking which one's worse.
I don't.
It's a quick question.
I already said.
I've
said multiple times before. I've said multiple times before. I've said multiple times before. I'm not ashamed of anything in the Bible, bro. Don't try it. I didn't say I'm ashamed.
He's ashamed of his Lord and Savior commanding.
Yeah. I'm so ashamed.
I'm so ashamed.
I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed.
Yeah. So which one's worse? Answer the question.
I'm so ashamed of someone who has to lie and twist a passage to try and defend themselves. Come on, man. I'm so ashamed. This is what you have to deal with. This is what it reduces to. Have you heard this hadith? Have you heard this hadith? We've just gone through this. This is why people in this religion, like that last caller and some of the callers we've heard before, are a joke. You know why? Because you show them hadith and they turn around and they say, it's weak. You show them a Sahih hadith and then they turn around and say, it's weak. Or they make some other excuse to throw it under the bus. But then when it's a hadith they like, they turn around and say, oh, do you know about this hadith? Do you know about that hadith? Like, this is the problem. They've got all of this contradictory stuff in the hadith, and it gives them the opportunity to pick and choose what they want. You don't want to talk about the hadith I've read previously on today's stream. They don't want to talk about the hadith I've spoken about in previous live streams. But they want to go to a particular verse and say, oh yeah, like, have you seen this particular hadith? Have you seen this, etc.? Not copy and paste. I was going to say pick and mix. This is what these guys do, pick and mix. And when they know they can't do anything, they have to start trying to run to stuff in the Bible and try and present it a certain way to try and make it anywhere near comparable to what we're talking about in Islam. This is what they have to do. And then they'll start, oh yeah, this, like, no guys, it's not going to work. All right. No, I'm not bringing you up, bro, because last time I brought you up, you were acting a fool. Anything to run away from what it says. And what they will turn around and do is start attacking you. How many Muslims have I spoken to today? Yet you still get dumb comments like, I'm panicking. Why would I be panicking? Who sounds like the one who's panicking on all these calls? Me or the Muslims? Can't make this up. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Okay.
I'm blessed.
Can you explain one thing to me?
Are you
I'm
a
gonna
Muslim?
listen to you.
Okay.
Okay. So explain to me why you think Christianity is better.
Okay. You want me to explain to you why Christianity is better for women than Islam?
Not just for women, it's better in general.
What's today's topic?
Why it's better for women.
So that's what I'm talking about today.
But didn't Islam give women more rights than Christianity?
No.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Have you actually read the Quran? Are you going to answer that? Have you actually read the Quran?
Why does that matter?
Yeah, so you're making
Have you read the
assumptions
Bible?
Have I read the Bible? I've heard many things.
You what?
I'm not saying anything bad about Christianity. You're saying that it's bad for women, but you've never read the Quran.
When I said
So you're just being racist.
When I said Christianity is better for women than Islam, what did you say?
Have you ever read the Quran? So, have you ever read the Quran?
Well, and I said to you, why does that matter? If I say yes, what difference is that going to make?
Because how is it bad for women?
So again, we're just back to we're back. So if so think about this. Think about this, yeah. If I turn around and say yes, you're going to turn around and go back to the original question, which is back to square one. If I turn around and say,
I'm not a child. I'm not a child. I'm actually 19.
Who said you're a child? What are you talking about?
Someone in the comment.
Okay, so okay, cool. So if I say yes, you're going to turn around and say, okay, so why is it bad? So then we're back at square one, which is the whole point of today's conversation. If I say no, you're going to turn around and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. When clearly, if you follow what's actually been happening on this live stream, I sound more like the one that knows what I'm talking about than all of the Muslims I've spoken to.
Yeah, but you haven't even read the Quran. You haven't even... First of all, you should read the Quran, know its translation. Then you should say, oh, it's bad. Okay, but you haven't read it. So you don't know. You're just basing it on your own thoughts, on own racism.
Is hadith my own
What's
thoughts?
the hadith?
Is the hadith my own thoughts?
Huh?
The hadith.
Okay, what is it?
You don't know what the hadith are?
I'm asking you. You said that it's a hadith. I'm asking you to say
No,
it.
no, I didn't say it's a hadith. I
Which-
said, are the hadith my thoughts?
What do you mean?
You said I don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, just to simplify this.
Yeah, and I asked you.
And I'm basically going off my own thinking.
You said that you never
Don't
read
interrupt
the
me,
Quran.
please.
You
Don't
said
interrupt
that you
me.
never read the Quran.
I didn't say that. Don't interrupt me, though.
Yes, you
said-
did. I asked
no, I
you before,
didn't.
and you said no, I
No,
didn't read the Quran.
no,
and
I
asked
didn't.
you to learn the translation, then judge.
I didn't say I never read the Quran. I gave you two.
Literally, there's
I
so
gave
many
you
people
two
that have just said
scenarios.
in the comments that you said.
I didn't say
You
I never
mentioned
read the
hadith.
Quran. I didn't say that. I said if
You're
I say
actually
no,
embarrassing yourself.
I
You know
said,
you're actually embarrassing
yeah,
yourself.
really. I
Because
said
you
if
mentioned that you knew that you never knew the translation, that you never read it.
what
Then you
translation? What are
mentioned
you talking about?
about the hadith,
What are you
and
talking
now you're
about?
acting like you're clueless.
What are you talking about?
You're actually embarrassing yourself. If you never read the Quran,
All right.
you never understand the translation, then how?
Just remember, guys. I say I don't want to say this, but I've said it multiple times before. I'm gonna say it again. In Islam, in the sources, it says that women in Islam are deficient in their mind. That's what it says in Islamic sources. This is why I don't like playing these games and going on these merry-go-rounds with some of these callers. Have I read the Quran? I gave them a scenario. If I say yes, I read the Quran, they're going to turn around and start making some other excuse or some other thing. Oh, do you know Arabic? Have you read it in Arabic or whatever? If I say no, they're going to turn around and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. The point is, you can't win however you answer them. So there's no point in answering that question because they're just going to say whatever they want to say. There's no point in it. So when this Muslim is here talking about, I said this and I said that, like, instead of us to actually talk about what we're actually talking about, this is what they do to you. They start making you think a certain way. Like, mind-boggling to me. Literally, the topic says it's about women. Women in Islam and women in Christianity. We started this off with a guy making a video that's got over 1 million views saying Islam honors women more than Christianity. They won't call him a hater. They won't say he hates Christianity. They won't say he has an agenda. They won't say he's rage baiting. But the Christian has an agenda. The Christian hates Muslims. The Christian is rage baiting. You can't make this up. And then she comes on and she says, tell me why Islam is better than, or why Christianity is better than Islam. And I said, so you want me to tell you why Islam or Christianity is better for me than Islam? And she says, no. Now I just want to tell you to tell me generally. And then I say, well, what's the topic? And she tells me what the topic is. So she knows what the topic is, but she's asking about something else. This is what I was saying earlier. I don't know who is like, I talk to Muslim men, I talk to Muslimas, and I'm just like, I don't know who's worse. The Muslim man who's trying to defend an example, for example, like striking a woman, beating a wife, or a Muslimah who's trying to defend it. Like, it doesn't make sense. This is why you need to pray for these people. Because what's clear and obvious, they can't see.
What's up?
How you doing? You alright?
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you,
I don't
you,
think Islam is bad
are you a Muslim?
for women. Yeah, I'm Muslim.
Okay. You don't think
I
Islam's
think
bad
I'm
for women?
echoing. Can you hear an echo?
No. And the audience can't hear echo either.
Okay.
All right. You're a
So yeah,
Muslim.
I don't think Islam is bad for women.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you the same thing I've given to everyone else so far, pretty much. In the Bible, in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 28 and 29, just to simplify this, it says, a husband is supposed to treat his wife like himself. He's supposed to take care of her. He's supposed to love her. You wouldn't hurt yourself, so don't hurt your wife. Love your wife. In Islam, in Quran 4:34, one of the things it gives the husband the right to do is to strike his wife. I think that's a clear reason why Christianity is better for women, number one. And number two, why Islam is actually bad for women. What do you think?
So most Muslim women,
Okay.
myself, I got married not too long ago. My husband has never laid a hand on me. And we know that verse
Praise
is
God.
not something that's practiced.
Okay. Not
And the
practiced.
Prophet never hit his wives, discouraged it. So I don't really see this happening.
Okay.
When I got married, I got a dowry. I got about $9,000. I get to stay home when I want. I get my food. I get my clothes, everything.
Okay.
Oh, and I just traveled not too long ago. Husband paid for everything.
Okay.
So I don't see the issue.
You don't see the issue in
No,
the
I don't.
verse that says a husband can strike his wife.
What surah? And you're talking about hadith or Quran? Because now you understand Quran.
Do you take hadith or you don't take hadith?
Yeah, authentic, but you can't cherry pick here or there.
Okay. Authentic hadith you take. Sahih, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bukhari.
Only Bukhari?
No.
Who else?
Other authentic sources.
Like? Because I said Sahih and then you mentioned Bukhari specifically. So who else do you take?
Yeah, that's just the main authority that I go to.
Okay, so Bukhari, you don't accept Abu Dawud, you don't accept Muslim or Ibn Majah, you don't accept
Do you
any of
not
them,
understand what main means?
I literally said to you Sahih.
I said Bukhari is the main one.
Then you said Bukhari. So then
I
I
can't
asked you.
argue for anybody else because I mainly know Bukhari.
Okay,
So you're asking me about something that's beyond what I know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so Bukhari is your guy. Okay, cool. I get
Yeah,
it.
my main one.
All right. Cool. So chapter 4, verse 34.
Of what?
The Quran.
Mm-hmm.
That's the verse we're talking about right now.
Okay.
Men are the managers of the affairs of women, for that God has preferred in bounty one of them over another, and for that they have expended of their property. Righteous women are therefore obedient, guarding the secret for God's guarding, and this is the part of relevance. And those you fear may be rebellious, admonish, banish them to their couches, and beat them. If they then obey you, look not for any way.
Wait, what? You said this is the Quran?
Look not for any way against them. God is all high, all great. You see that reaction you just had?
Listen.
That's the reaction a Muslim man should have. Thank you.
You said beat them on their couches?
It says banish them to their couches and beat them.
This is referring to
Adam?
Yeah, who are we referring to?
In the verse.
Yeah, are we referring to the men or the women?
Who's getting beat? Beaten?
Yeah, who's getting beat?
The wife.
For what?
For the husband fearing rebellion. Not rebellion, he fears rebellion. He thinks his wife is doing something which he shouldn't be doing. He thinks it.
The verse that you're talking about is like if there's some major disagreement or whatever. And again, never enacted by any Sahaba, not enacted by any prophet.
Is Umar part of the Sahaba?
Yeah.
He is.
Who?
Umar.
You said who?
Umar.
Who's Ummah?
You don't know who that is?
Ummah? Who's Ummah?
Wow.
You mean Omar? There's no Ummah. We have an Umar.
Is he one of the Sahaba or not?
Go on. What about him?
Yes or no?
Yeah, what about him?
He is, okay. Because you just said there's none of the companions, you said none of the Sahaba, and you said there's none of the other people, some other people.
Yeah, yeah, our prophet.
We just read a hadith earlier, which was all about him coming to complain to the Prophet about women being bold now because we can't beat them anymore. So order them to be beaten again. And then it said they were beaten.
Why are you lying, bro?
What benefit?
And what is the source that you're talking about?
What benefit would I have about lying about what your sources say?
Because you want people to be Christian. That's your benefit.
So I want people to be Christian. The Bible says.
Yeah, so you have to lie about Islam.
The Bible says, as a Christian, I shouldn't lie. Lying is a sin. But you think
many Christians do things
but you
aren't
think,
Christian.
But
and
you think
they just
I'm
pray.
gonna come online and start lying.
Yeah.
To bring people into
So you're
my
telling me
religion.
you've never lied before because you're Christian, right?
I didn't say that. But my point is.
So can we both agree? Let me just ask you something.
My point is, as a Christian, you're not supposed to make a habit of lying. If I lied, for example, I would have to apologize. I would have to repent. I wouldn't be doing a good thing in my religion. That would be a bad thing.
Same thing.
So when I'm mentioning a hadith that we spoke about earlier on in the live stream, you really think I'm going to be lying about this? Why would I lie about it?
Bro, I don't know you.
Whether you know me or not.
Listen. Muslim, Christian, whatever, people lie.
Okay.
Regardless, there's cognitive dissonance.
I agree. That's true. People do lie. Okay. Sunan Ibn Majah. We read Sunan Ibn Majah, 1986. And then I read after that, 1985. Both of them are about Umar. The first one, 1986, is when he's hitting his wife. A man breaks it up. And he tells him, one of the things Muhammad told me was, you don't ask a man why he beats his wife. That's 1986.
And this is Bukhari?
No, it's Ibn Majah. Sahih. Oh, actually, no, sorry. That one's not Sahih.
I already told you. I can't argue about anything else besides Bukhari. That's my main source.
All right. Cool. Bukhari, yeah? All right.
Yeah, you're just going to try to find something bad now.
No.
You're cherry picking.
I'm cherry picking.
Yeah.
All right. I'm cherry picking. Bukhari 5825. Bukhari 5825. Rifar divorced his wife, whereupon Abdul Rahman bin Azubair al-Qarazi married her. Aisha said that the lady came wearing a green veil and complained to Aisha of her husband and showed her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. Caused by beating. It was the habit of ladies to support each other. So when Allah's messenger came, Aisha said, you know who Aisha is, right?
Yeah.
I'm
gonna have to look up all of this stuff after you're done.
Please do.
Since you're so truthful.
Please do. I'm not cheerful. I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing woman. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes. And then it goes on. My point is, I showed you a different hadith, which is
okay. So we're talking about Bukhari now, which is good.
Which is part of the hadith collection. It's a Sahih hadith collection. I've shown you a Bukhari hadith now, which is basically saying the same thing. My point is, right, the Quran says it in 434. There's multiple hadith in Bukhari and in other Sahih collections, which are all aligning with what the verse says. So
what I've seen in the chat is you're not telling the whole thing.
my goodness.
Did you read it? Did you read it from the beginning to the end?
I read the beginning part and I stopped after. Like, there's nothing in the hadith which changes this whole the context. Like, this is crazy, man. Come on.
Okay, so
I literally said to you
what
before.
you
I literally said to you
let me
before,
speak
read
really
it.
quick.
Go and read it in your own time. Like, I have no.
Let me speak really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you said, or it says, no person has what's it?
Aisha said she's never seen women. What does she say? Women suffer
as much as the believing women.
as much as the believing women.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't say it. Aisha's saying it.
So this doesn't refer to just one thing. Suffering can be over a multitude of things.
That's true.
So
but what's the context?
I don't get how
That's
it's
true. But what's the context of this hadith?
A woman came. She's talking about,
What did she come
a
from?
bruise on herself. She says in general.
She came complaining because of beating. And
Yeah. Who says her man is a true believer or a good person? Again, my point. Muslims, Christians, anybody can be a bad person. You're telling me Christians don't beat on their wives?
Do Christians have a Bible verse?
Literally,
which
my
says
uncle,
you can beat
Christian,
your wife.
beats on his wife, bro.
Okay, and he's a
And I
evil.
bet he
evil
prays
person.
every single day too.
I strongly doubt. I don't know how a Christian man who's praying every day is going to be beating his wife.
It's called cognitive dissonance. People can be bad people and still be believers.
People can be bad people and go against what their religion says.
Yeah, it's called cognitive dissonance.
This man in this hadith, or in any of the other hadith, people like Omar or anyone else in hadith we can look at where a man is beating his wife or something along those lines, they can all take you back to 434 and say, well, the Quran says you can strike your wife.
Yeah, but she has bruises on her body.
Yes, she does, according to this hadith. That's a problem. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, she has bruises on her body. He's getting her until she's bruised.
You beat her too much is the point you're making, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You shouldn't beat her at all.
And there's no actually, listen. If anybody does something to you, regardless whether they're your husband or wife, yeah, you should beat them. If they hurt you, you should hurt them.
Okay.
We don't know the context of any of this.
Okay. In the Quran verse, did it say she beat him, so he beats her?
That's what I'm saying. We're assuming that this person is innocent because Aisha is saying that the believing women suffer the most. So she's taking the side of the woman. So the husband is wrong.
But Muhammad doesn't say.
Yeah, because Aisha's talking.
So I'm trying to help me understand your vantage point now, because you at the start of this call you said
she comes to a woman, she's sympathizing, right?
Hold on. I understand that part. You came when we first started talking. You said you've been married for a little while. Your husband hasn't beaten you, which is, I believe, it's a good thing that he hasn't done that, and you don't see that. That's not your experience, basically. We've looked at the Quran verse. We've looked at different hadith, and I'm still trying to gauge now, like, do you think a husband beating a wife is a good thing or a bad thing? Like, what do you think about it?
Obviously, it's a bad thing.
I don't know if it's obvious to you because it doesn't seem as obvious from my vantage point.
So, it wasn't encouraged by the Prophet. So it's not even, and he calls against it. So I don't think it's a good thing in the Islamic context.
We looked at a hadith earlier. You said you don't want to engage with it because it's not Bukhari. Where
I said I'm not knowledgeable enough.
I know.
How can I argue about something I don't know?
It's not even about arguing about it. Excuse me. It's not about arguing about it. It's a clear hadith which starts by saying that Muhammad said you shouldn't beat Muslimas. And then a Sahaba, a companion of Muhammad, turns around and says, women are getting bolder, so let us beat them again. And then it says, and they were beaten, which the clear implication is Muhammad changed his mind and said, okay, you can beat them. So
Again, I don't know about this hadith. I don't know if it's strong or whatever.
go and look
But
it
what
up
I'm saying
in
is,
your own time.
Islamically,
Write it down. Sunan Ibn Majah, 1985. Write it down and go and look it up later on.
it just seems like you're picking and choosing things that are like perceived as bad, whether they're authentic or not.
Well, we started this conversation with you saying you only take Sahih collections. I give you.
I
give
never
you
said
something
I only
Sahih.
take. I said the ones that I know about is Bukhari.
Okay, yes, but I asked you before, do you take hadith? You said yes. Sahih
yeah.
collection. So I'm saying to you, if I'm giving you from the Sahih collection, and you're still now like, okay, cool, I'm cherry picking, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, etc. I've given you the Quran, I've given you hadith. What else can I give you to show you what's clear and obvious?
And what is clear and obvious?
That in Islam, a husband is able to strike his wife. And that's a problem for me.
I have a question.
Is that a problem for you?
Let me tell you something really quick. Some things in Islam, they're allowed, but it's something that's not recommended.
Okay.
For example, you're allowed to divorce, but it's not like you're allowed to go to war, but you're supposed to exhaust all your means. I have a question. Husband or wife, because equality here. Somebody comes at you, does something bad to you, like physical or whatever, they're trying to harm you. I'll smack you so hard, bro. What are you talking about?
But that's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, if the context is somebody's trying to harm me, then yeah, I'm gonna smack you, bro.
The Quran verse isn't talking about that, though, is it?
But what's exactly? We're talking about context.
The Quran verse isn't talking about the scenario you're bringing up. It's talking about...
Yeah, it doesn't talk about a specific scenario. It's just saying that if means or if they're you've exhausted anything and this person is like a harm to you or themselves, yeah. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong. If my husband comes here and he's strung out on whatever substance, or if he does it, I'm gonna slap him.
So in the context of 434, a man, if he fears rebellion from his wife,
Yeah, it depends on what rebellion.
He can admonish her, which is tell her off. He can banish her from the bed, i.e. not have relations with her anymore for a season, and he can also beat them. And if she obeys after that, then there's no more problem. So
it depends on the offense. And then, even a lot of these Islamic rulings, you have to go to a judge.
You have to go to a judge about what?
Yeah, an Islamic judge.
A judge about what? Whether he's going to be able to beat his wife or not.
No, whether you're going to hash it out. What's up? There's some things you have to take to a judge because it's not black and white.
You don't think this verse is black and white?
No, because there's no context that's given. We don't know exactly what the offense is.
He fears rebellion.
What type of rebellion? There's different types.
It doesn't tell you. He
Exactly.
just has to fear
it's not
rebellion.
Black and white.
What does rebellion
mean? You can rebel against many things.
No, but what before I agree with you, but what does it mean to rebel? What does rebellion mean?
To go against some sort of norm.
Okay. So if a husband fears that his wife is going against him, then he can action admonishing, banishing from beds, or beating. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It doesn't say...
No, I understand the verse.
It doesn't say that she's being rebellious. She doesn't even have to be rebellious. He has to fear. He has to be think in his mind and in his heart, like, my wife is maybe doing something.
So you're not...
behind my back.
Islamically, you're not supposed to take any action unless you're certain.
Well, that's not what this verse says, does it? Is that what this verse says about
Yeah,
husband and a
again,
wife?
just like you said before, you don't understand Arabic. One word in Arabic can have like multiple meanings.
Do the people that do the hadith, do they understand Arabic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aisha spoke English. I mean, not English, Arabic.
Okay. And the people that translated the Arabic into English, do they understand Arabic?
Yeah.
Okay. So you saying I don't understand Arabic doesn't make it doesn't matter, because I'm not translating.
Broad, though.
I'm not translating
English
things.
is more so closed off.
I'm not translating things
some languages
for
have
myself
a broader
and saying
range
this is
of,
my interpretation. I'm showing you.
No, but Arabic is broader than
what,
English.
I'm showing you what Arabs are saying. It says.
And Arabs told you.
Who you think these websites, Sunnah.com, Quran.com, you think these are Arab websites or people managed by Arabs, or you think these are Christian websites?
Like these websites that you're talking about, I've used them before. I'm not saying that they're inaccurate, but I'm saying English is more closed off. So you're not going to get the full meaning.
Okay. But they're translating it, right?
Yeah, but again, English is closed. It's not as broad. So even whenever they try to translate it, it's not really doing it justice.
So Islamic, do you know Arabic? Do you read Arabic?
I read Arabic, I don't understand it.
Okay, so you don't understand Arabic. So
yeah.
When you recite the Quran, when you read the Quran, you're reading something, you don't understand it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the literal like I can't understand what I'm reading, but I can translate and get a rough understanding.
So, based on what you're saying, do you really understand the Quran?
To its fullest potential? No, but I understand it how it's supposed to be understood to me.
Okay. So,
let me ask you a question. Was the Bible originally in English?
No.
Yeah, but it was translated to English. So you understand it the way that it's supposed to be understood, right?
On a base level, yes.
Yeah, on a basic level.
Mm-hmm. Like, you translate something from one language to another. Like, Muslims for some reason feel like that automatically changes drastically the message when it doesn't.
As long as you have the basic stuff there and no errors, then yeah, you'll be fine.
But this is something, we're talking about something which is really like straightforward.
Yeah, if it's translated verbatim, which is not likely with Arabic because it's such a complex language, then yeah.
But you're like, from my vantage point, you're fighting for something which is like very clear and obvious.
But who's to say that? We don't think Arabic.
Pardon?
We don't know what. I'm telling you, in Arabic, you'll have like one word, 3, 4, 5 meanings.
I get that, but my point is, like I mentioned previously, Arabs are the ones that translated the Quran into English, into the different English translations. So here, International, Ilali Khan.
So let me tell you something.
Piktha,
I'm African American and
etc.
I'm African. I'm both African American and African.
Okay.
So we have some words in my language, right? I'm West African, by the way.
Okay.
And you can't translate them into English. Because like, there's like this one word we have, and it means like you're nostalgic and you're sad. But in English, we don't have a word for it. So we give it like the word or the meaning of sadness. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I understood you the first time you mentioned it, but my point is, we're looking at translations in English of the Quran. We're reading those translations. Arabs translated it. We're looking at hadith. We're looking at these different sources which Arabs, people that know Arabic, translated it. So it's one thing to
the
say,
best of their ability.
It's one thing to say me, someone who doesn't know Arabic, that well enough to translate it doesn't know what I'm talking about. But it's completely different when you now start saying all these different people that made the Sahih International Translation, the Arbery translation, the Pickford translation, the Hilali Khan translation, all the people that translated all of these hadith for Muslims to read and anyone else to read it. It's completely different to say, yeah, they translated it, but even still, there may be like something drastically different about what's actually being said. You understand my point?
You're saying that they all have like the same translation.
I'm not saying they all have the same translation, but the point I've made with 434, for example, is you read through the different translations in English and you have like one will say beat them, another will say scourge them, another will say strike them, another will say beat,
tap them, or
will say beat and will have
whatever.
in brackets lightly, right?
Yeah.
The point is, the more translations you read in English, the better understanding you can get of what this verse is actually saying.
Yeah, what it's trying to convey.
As long as they're translating it accurately. So
yeah.
the translation that puts in brackets lightly, they're adding that in because Arabic, it doesn't say that in Arabic. They're adding that in from somewhere else. So my point is...
sometimes there's different taps, or when somebody like hits or taps or whatever, we know there's contact.
Yeah.
But the severity and where and all of this is a bit more like... people find it to be more ambiguous.
Yeah, and I guess
the offense is also ambiguous, but they tell us generally what it is.
People can make up and come to conclusions for whatever reason they want to. This is why
she could take it to an Islamic judge.
This is why we look at the different hadith and we can get like a wide range of example. Okay, cool. One hadith or one source may say someone was hit on the face. Another hadith will say the women were beaten and they're complaining about it. Another hadith will say she had a green spot. Another hadith will say, oh, don't beat women. The point is, there's a bunch of hadith out there which say one thing or say another thing. There's another hadith I've spoken about before which talks about a man beating his wife because she prays too much. There's a bunch of hadith out there. There's a bunch of hadith.
That's not allowed Islamically.
Muhammad didn't say it's not allowed in that hadith, just for the record. He actually sided with the husband in that hadith. But my point is...
And again, where's your sources? It's just claim. And then you're saying this. We don't know whether it's authentic, not authentic. That's so, like... Again, cherry picking.
Mentioning a source isn't cherry picking. Like,
no, not mentioning. You're saying this. Oh, he let her or get beat because she was praying too much. Where is your source?
So the problem is, right, I have no problem showing these sources. Any of the sources I've mentioned, I've shown before on previous live streams. That's not the point. But my point is, when I start showing you the sources, as we've seen in our conversation, I'll go to one source and then you say...
Host. It was nice talking to you. I have to go pee. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right. Well, that was one of the better conversations I've had so far today, but I don't know like if that's saying a lot, to be honest, but it just shows you, as we've seen today, you can say one thing, you can mention the sources, you can mention X, Y, Z, and some people, as we've seen, are going to accuse you of lying. You show them the source and they say, well, I don't take this, or I don't know about this, etc. Like, all of this stuff will continue to happen over and over again. And the crazy thing is, she's accusing me of all of this stuff. I'm mentioning stuff, I'm lying, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm the one saying, like, go and look it up, because we want them to look it up. We want them to read it, and then to see the gymnastics that a lot of these people have to do in order to dress up and cover up these sources. So it's always amazing. Like, imagine someone saying, prove to me Christianity is better. What? I've literally been doing that and demonstrating that this whole live stream. And it's like they can't see it. It's like they can't see it. And it's crazy. But that Muslima seemed, like I said, better than most that I spoke to today. Even though, like, she had her own problems, right? And this is what I'm trying to get her to see. If you're going to say something like, okay, you don't know Arabic, but the Islamic scholars know Arabic. The people that are translating these things know Arabic. They know this stuff. So this is what I always say. It's not me saying it. We're looking at the sources saying it. Because you can say I'm saying one thing, but the sources are clear and saying something else. But the problem is, for someone like that Muslima, right? She's like, look, I've been married. This hasn't happened to me. And that's great that hasn't happened to you. But that's not because her husband is following what the Quran says. He's not following what the Quran says. And maybe he is, and he's never found himself in that situation. But either way, but this is the same thing I'm trying to say anyway. Either way, like the same thing I'm saying. This is what the Quran says. There's multiple hadith saying the same thing, corroborating. We looked at different hadith in today's live stream. We've spoken to different people, and I've spoken to Muslims before who say, look, yes, this is what it says. Then they try and explain it away. We had some callers like that saying that today. Oh, this is what it says. Remember the guy from earlier went, oh yeah, but you forgot the stages. I didn't forget the stages. It's just not relevant to what we're talking about. I'm trying to simplify this for them as much as possible. And it's still, in many respects, going over their head. And I said this earlier, like, look, I could be a lot harder with these sources, but I don't want to do that. It's not necessary. I'd more than likely gladly have a conversation like I was having with that Muslima, and we can just talk and see where we get to. But it doesn't have to be a back and forth. It doesn't have to be a shouting match or anything along those lines. Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, how is this bad for women?
Pardon?
Huh?
I said pardon. What did you say?
How is Islam bad for women?
You're a Muslim.
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Islam is bad for women. One reason we've been speaking about today is because a husband in Islam is allowed to strike his wife if he fears disobedience. What do you think about that? Pardon?
He's not.
He's not?
Mm-hmm.
Based on...
What's your source?
Chapter 434.
Of what?
Is one of the sources of the Quran.
Okay, and show me a tafsir.
Do you reject the Quran verse?
No, I do. It's just, here's the thing. I hope you know you're known for going around pulling out hadiths that we don't take. You know that, right?
Okay. I'm known for it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's because you pull shit out of your ass.
All right.
You do exactly what your mother.
All right. Case in point. I think I've spoken to that guy before. His voice sounded familiar. I think I've spoken to him before. But there you go, guys. Someone, like, he can't control themselves, or he can't control himself. Let me not generalize. He can't control himself. I mentioned the verse. He doesn't want to talk about the verse. He wants to jump to additional sources, etc. He told me it doesn't. How many times I read the verse on this live stream? If I was a Muslim watching this, I'd be embarrassed by the Muslims coming on.
So
Hello.
tell me, what's bad for Islam for women?
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay. In the Quran, it says a Muslim man can strike his wife.
No, they can't. Where you get that verse from?
Okay.
I'm married to my wife. She's Muslim, Pakistani. Have I beaten her up before? No.
Is striking a woman, is striking your wife good or bad?
Obviously, it's bad, but not us Muslims do it.
Okay. Whether you do it or not is different to what the Quran says. Would you agree?
What do you mean?
Just because you may not beat your wife, that doesn't mean the Quran doesn't say you can beat your wife.
When does it? Show me the verse where it says in the Quran.
But do you, yes or no first?
Show me the verse where it says
yes
in the
or
Quran.
no first?
That's your problem. You ignore me. What I'm trying to say to you. Show me the verse.
Because I'm trying to help you.
Got no proof.
I'm trying to help you.
Help me with what?
Just because you came here and said you haven't beaten your wife up. Just because you haven't beaten up your wife, does that mean the Quran doesn't say you can strike your wife?
No, it doesn't say that. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Prove me. Where does it say it?
I'll show you, but before answer my question. Before answer my question.
What was your question? Go on.
Because you've never beat up your wife, you never hit your wife, according to your testimony, does that mean the Quran doesn't say you can strike your wife?
No, it doesn't say that.
My goodness. So, do you not understand my question, or?
Yeah, I do understand your question.
So why did you just say, no, it doesn't say that? That's not the answer to the question.
It doesn't. But why are you trying to say something that's not in the Quran? This is what I'm trying to say to you.
Before we get to that, just because you've never struck your wife before, does that mean the Quran doesn't say you can strike your wife?
It doesn't say that in the Quran, though. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Where does it say that?
All right. Go and read chapter 4, verse 34. He's gone, by the way. Someone who can't answer a simple question, like, there's no point in talking to them. And I don't know how many people have said to me today, I'm lying. He's another one that's added to the list, I'm lying. I don't know if these people have like never read these verses in the Quran, or if they're just being deceptive. Like, this is crazy. Trust me, this is really crazy. It's like someone like that, what's the point of talking to them? They're struggling to answer basic questions. And they just accuse you of lying from the jump. And all they do in the end is just start attacking you. Oh, he's lying. Oh, he's crazy. Oh, X, Y, Z. Can't make this up. Oh. Just notice how it's the same over and over and over and over again. You give them all the same verse. And the next one comes, 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 and they all say the same thing. You're lying. You don't know Arabic. X, Y, Z. Thank you for sharing the live. Yetis. And it's amazing that more and more people come up and they say, well, tell me why it's better. Then I tell them why it's better. And then they act as if it didn't go in. It's crazy. Oh, crazy. I'm so wrong, it hurts, guys. This is amazing. Guys, I don't have an argument yet. We're in the same place we started in the beginning. That's how bad the argument I've brought is. I've continued to prove it over and over and over again with every Muslim caller, and none of them can handle it. I've explained how it's bad so many different times. Call after call after caller, and it goes over their head. I think I've got enough energy for one more caller. I'm going to give one more Muslim a chance. A Muslim or a Muslima. One more to call in and for us to do this again. One more. Because, to be honest, even 2 callers ago, I was saying, you know, yeah, it's a wrap. In my mind, I was like, yeah, this will be the last one. Then I had the last caller, and then I was like, you know, maybe one more. Then I took one more, and I'm just like, crazy. All right. Muslim men, Muslim husbands are able to strike their wives. This is one reason why Islam is bad for women. And in Christianity, a husband is supposed to love his wife, cherish his wife, nourish his wife, treat his wife like himself, because they're one. This is why, one reason why Islam is bad for women. Husbands can strike their wives. And also why Christianity is better for women. Like, to me, maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't think so, but this is like basic and obvious and simple to understand for anyone who wants to understand it. But for some reason, the Muslims I was speaking to today, they don't get it. You show them the Quran verse, you show them Hadith, and they either shut down the Hadith, mention another Hadith as if that Hadith trumps the Hadith you're bringing. They'll do all of these different things instead of just accept what's clear and plain for anyone who wants to see. Then you have Muslims that come on and start swearing and shouting and accusing you of all of this different stuff. Did I ask us as a Muslim woman about our opinions? It's a good question. I've spoken to multiple Muslim women today. I'm speaking to Muslim men, I'm speaking to Muslim women. I'm open to speak to any Muslim who wants to come and have a conversation about this. In fact, I even said one of the Muslim women I spoke, one of the Muslimas, was actually probably the best conversation I've had today. So this is another live stream I've done again on this particular topic. And again, you see the same results. All right. Hello. How you doing?
Hello. How are you? I'm alright.
You're a Muslim?
Yes, I am, but I want to know, why is Christianity better?
Because in Christianity, the Bible says you're supposed to love your wife like yourself, cherish her, nourish her, treat her just as Jesus treated the church. In contrast, in Islam, one of the things a husband's able to do to his wife is strike her.
Okay, bring up the verses that I posted.
No.
Why not?
Why should I bring them up?
You,
What, but like,
they're
why
from
should I
your
bring them up?
Bible.
So what?
So you like to pick and choose, that's all you want to do?
Who's picking and choosing? We've been
Well,
speaking.
you're picking
We've been
out a verse
speaking
from the Quran, but you're not choosing all the verses from the Bible.
We spoke about throughout this live stream. I don't know when you came on. We looked at one verse.
I just come like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago.
I know. That's why I'm explaining
You're
why.
acting like I've been here for an hour.
Or no, I'm not. I assumed you just came. That's why I'm giving you some of the rundown. We've been talking about 2 passages through this whole live stream. One passage from the Bible, the one I just mentioned a moment ago, and one passage from the Quran. So we've been speaking about these 2 passages. We've been speaking about these 2 passages the whole time. So
you're going to just use 2 verses, one from the Quran, one from the Bible, and not the ones that I'm posting. Are you scared or something?
Why would I be scared?
Prove to me Christianity is better.
I just gave you a simple one verse for one verse example. You don't want to deal with the verse I mentioned in the Quran. Mate. You don't want to mention.
Sure everybody else wants to hear them.
You don't want to deal with the verse I mentioned in the Quran, or you don't want to deal with the verse I mentioned in the Bible. You want to go to something completely different.
Islam is bad for women, and Christianity is better. I've asked, why is Christianity better? And you're giving me one little verse.
And I gave you a reason, and like I just said, you don't want to talk about the verse I mentioned, and you don't want to talk about the verse I mentioned in the Bible or the Quran.
You're asking a question, and I've asked my question, but you're not answering it.
I gave you a reason. You're not addressing the reason.
And that's not good enough for me. You're asking everybody else about the Quran verse, and when they're giving their answer, it's not good enough for you. So why should your answer be good enough for us?
I have given pretty much everyone I've spoken to today the same scenario.
It's not about the same scenario. Yes. All you Christians do the same thing. You're just a bit more polite about it.
I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
That is a compliment. You are probably the nicest Christian that's talking about Islam, but you guys are obsessed with it. I don't understand you. If Christianity is better, talk about Christianity.
The guy that made the video, the guy that I spoke about earlier on, made a video saying Islam honors women more than Christians. Like, do what you just say about me apply to him too?
It applies to everybody, mate.
So it applies to him too, yeah?
Do you know what I mean? So if you believe your faith is better,
does it apply to him?
Practice it. It applies to everybody. I just said it.
Okay, thanks. At least thanks for being consistent.
I'm not gonna criticize Christianity. You want to believe it, you believe it. I don't believe it.
Okay.
Don't need to.
Okay. So, what do you think about the verse I mentioned in the Quran that says you can strike your wife?
Yeah, it's an interpretation of what you believe. It doesn't say beating.
What does it
It
say?
says hit him with a miswak stick.
No, it doesn't.
And hitting somebody with a
It
little
doesn't
stick like
say
that,
that in the
it's not gonna cause any
Quran. That's a
damage.
lie. You're lying.
No, you don't know how to read, and I don't know. You're basically acting like you're reading translations.
Do the
And
people that
hadiths.
translated it know Arabic?
Go look up the meaning now.
Do they
Go
know?
to Quran.com.
Do they know? Do they know Arabic? The
Don't
people
tell
that
me I don't
translated
know,
it.
man. I'm telling you, you're the one that's going to different sources.
You're
Bring it
saying
up on
to
your
me,
screen
I don't know
and
Arabic.
translate it.
Do the people that translated the Quran verse to English, the different translations English, do they know Arabic?
Where's your source? Bring the source and then translate it.
My source was Arbery, Ilali Khan, Pikfar, Zahir International,
Bring it up on your
Yusuf
screen,
Ali.
mate. Just don't just stop waffling about people.
Who's waffling? You're telling me I don't know Arabic. I'm telling you, these are Arabic speakers and Arabic translators who translated into English. So whatever you're
Yeah,
going to
so
say
bring it
about
up
me
on your
is
screen
different.
and then show it. Don't just
No.
spout names.
You read it. Arbery translation says, beat them. Ilali Khan says, where is it? Beat them. And then it has in brackets, lightly, if it's useful, which is not in the Arabic. Pikthal says, scourge them. Sahih International says, strike them. Yusuf Ali says, beat them. And then in brackets, lightly. Again, it's not in the translation. So all of these people don't know Arabic is the point you're trying to make, yeah?
No, the point is that you don't know. You're acting like you know, and you're just reading translations.
I'm
Go
going
speak to
based
an
on.
Arabic speaker.
I've spoken to Arabic speakers in the past who've actually
What, an
confirmed
imam?
that what I'm saying is actually true.
Somebody
That
in a mosque.
it says strike or beat or scourge. So it's not that difficult.
You're just waffling, mate.
I'm waffling, yeah.
Here you are.
All right, no problem.
If you had any proof, you'd show it on the screen.
Okay, I've shown it on my screen, all live stream.
Yeah, when I told you, I just joined 5-10 minutes ago. You keep talking about stuff that you'd shown an hour ago, or talked about an hour ago.
Like this is basic stuff. If you're Arabic, if you're a Muslim,
if you're Arabic,
I was gonna say if you're Arabic speaker, but if you're a Muslim, like go open up your Quran to 434. It's not that deep. Like you really think like I'm making something up?
I'm not talking about making some up. I'm saying you're just taking translations.
Okay, I'm taking translations.
Translations, just like you do with the Bible.
Okay.
You don't speak it in its original language.
All right.
It's nothing like Jesus taught.
How many times have you heard me say today? I've said to you, I think 2 times so far. This is going to be probably the 3rd time I've said to you. It doesn't say beat them lightly in the translation in Arabic. It just says strike them in Arabic.
How do you know?
Because I've
How
read
do you know that multiple words don't mean certain things?
Because number one, I've read multiple translations to cross-reference.
I'm getting a phone call.
All right. You take your phone call.
Yeah, kick me out, please.
These are the games that have to be played. I don't know Arabic. Do the translators know Arabic? Do the scholars know Arabic? Do all of these different people know Arabic, or they don't know Arabic? This is this is crazy. There's tafsir also, which is true. Which in previous streams I've shown hadith, and then you can't make this up. If here Muslims say they don't accept those particular tafsirs. This is unbelievable. All right. I really feel like I should have ended after the Muslima. That would have at least ended us on somewhat of a high note, right? But I think that's it, guys. Thank you all for tuning into the live stream, or wherever you were watching or listening. Don't forget to like it if you haven't liked it already. Send in hearts. Share this with someone that you know that this will be a blessing to, and pray for all of the Muslims that called in and all of the Muslims that listened today, that the truth that we will speak in today will penetrate through the darkness that's blinding them from seeing what's clear and obvious. So I pray this was a blessing to you as a Christian. Obviously, I do these live streams to help you as a Christian know how to defend your faith. Today, our live stream was about why, again, Islam does not honor women better than Christianity. And hopefully you see this over and over again. The more and more we have these conversations, the more it's clear. It's clear and obvious. All right. God bless, guys. Take care, and I'll see you on the next live stream.